Hi, everybody. It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's Moohead Radio. And today we're getting off to a little late start because I'll be honest with you, I'm smoking some fish back here, and Mrs. Moohead was taking the dogs out, and so I got kind of detained. But I'm here. And the important thing is we have a show planned, and we are going to talk about a few things that are of interest, at least to me, maybe not to you. We start out with my favorite NFL protest. Now, to me, it's just becoming comical at this point. I mean, I don't know what is it going to be. Green-eyed people, blue-eyed people? Is it going to be people who like to wear purple dashikis? I don't know who's going to protest next, but my favorite one, without a doubt, goes something like this. Hi, my name is Papa John Schnatter, and I'm protesting the NFL because the NFL is costing me money. You see, I'm worth $800 million personally. You remember me. I was the guy who said, you know something? I just can't see this Obamacare thing for my workers. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut their hours, and I'm going to raise pizza prices if I am told that I have to do this. You remember me. Well, now, you see, I'm kind of on the other side of this thing, and I kind of want to explain my NFL protest to you. You see, the NFL and Roger Goodell haven't taken care of this problem that the league has regarding all of these protests. And it's really hurt the ratings. And you see, I spent $30 to $40 million to be a partner of the NFL. And I'm like the official pizza of the NFL. And I mean, and that means a lot because I paid a lot of money for that. But the ratings are going down and my pizza sales are dropping. And my pizza sales are dropping because the ratings are going down on the football game. So I told them, you got to do something about this. And I told them I don't like the way that they're running their business at all. And I've decided to protest this in a number of ways. One, I've canceled some of my advertising. I just decided I'm not going to let my ads run on there. I mean, this is a solid protest, folks. I'm serious about this. I lost value. My stock is down because the ratings of the NFL are down. And this is my protest. And, I know the NFL gave me free ads and all that, but it's just not the same as the good old days back a number of years ago when the ratings were going up and my pizza sales were going up. And, it kind of goes like this, and I want to explain it in the most human way that I can because I, Papa John Schnatter, am such a humanitarian, as my past has proven. It has nothing to do with the quality of my pizza. That's the first thing I want to say. And it has nothing to do with the fact that my spokesperson is retired and doesn't play football anymore. It doesn't have anything to do with that either. It doesn't really have anything to do with anything I'm responsible for. And it doesn't have anything to do with Blaze Pizza. And I know what some people are saying, that this pizza chain that is opened up, that is owned by a colored athlete from another sport, not the NFL, because I am a supporter of the NFL. I want to make that clear. I just don't like the fact that they're not taking care of business. It's not that Blaze Pizza has gone up 205% in sales over the same period of time that my sales have dropped by 24%. It doesn't have anything to do with that. You see? Later, Tony, I'm on a roll.
Sorry.
Can't wait, can you? And I just want to explain to all of my friends out there in Indiana and around the country who love my pizza that it is not okay for NFL players whose lives are being shortened to protest inequality, but it's okay for a rich white guy like myself to protest the NFL for lost profits. And I just wanted to point out that my protest is the valid protest against the NFL. Sometimes I don't even have to be Mr. Moohead specifically. Some arguments are just so fucking ignorant that they defy all explanations. Can you imagine saying the league has a problem because players are protesting and then he goes out and protests and takes money away from the league? What would he do if the players didn't play? He pulls his ad schedule, and that's okay. But if the players decide they don't want to play, fire these people. Papa John Schnatter, the biggest fucking cocksucker in America today, single-handedly proving, oh, no, don't practice as I preach. Heavens, no. God almighty. It's just, one more NFL thing about this protest and all that, I'm just going to punch somebody, honest to God. All right, Tony, your moment to shine. All right, put up the hoof. Go ahead.
I even cut my nails today for you.
Oh, it's a pedicured moldy hoof.
Yes.
All right. Now, for those people who want a background to Kiss the Moldy Hoof, because Kiss the Moldy Hoof has been around Moohead Radio for the better part of 12 years, Kiss the Moldy Hoof. And it's when somebody makes a prediction that somebody else takes exception to, eventually you have to kiss the hoof. And Tony the Calf, early on, after the Astros beat his Minnesota Twins, said that they were the team O destiny. And Mr. Moohead said, well, I'm not so sure about that. You know, it's kind of like, let's see how it comes out after the seventh game. And sure enough, the Astros won. And I'm not sure if they won or Dave Roberts lost, but the end result is the same. I'm going to go with you, Darvish, as my MVP. God almighty.
Oh, Christ.
God, the ball left the stadium faster than Chinese takeout. Okay. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Okay. Here, hold out the hoof. Hold out the hoof, Tony. All right. Say something so your hoof's on camera.
My hoof is on camera. You can kiss now. Suck any harder, my fingers are going to play your tonsils.
I just pretended that I was eating spaghetti. That's it. No, but so congratulations. You made a good pick and a good call on that. And it's not like I have any problems at all with the Houston Astros winning. And in the great category of if you really do believe in God, okay, and I'm not going to get into that discussion right now, but if you really believe in God, a God, or your God, or somebody else's God, you would have to believe that the city of Houston still loses because they had a hurricane, they got a World Series, and then Deshaun Watson ripped his knee out. So, I mean, what can I tell you? The Lord moves in mysterious ways, folks.
I think they'll take a World Series over Deshaun Watson's knee any day of the week. So.
For all the talk about, this guy's going to be great. And it was funny because they were talking about this on one of the talking head shows on ESPN. They've all become so homogenized. I forget which one. The only one I know is First Take because there's a black and a white guy. Then there's Mike and Mike, and then there's two white guys. And then you have Feinbaum, who's college, it's all homogenized. But I think it was Mike and Mike who were talking about it. And they were saying, you really can't compare Deshaun Watson and Robert Griffin III, even though they're both African-American quarterbacks and they're both have been enjoying a great rookie year. And this was before he ripped his knee. They said, because, Deshaun Watson is a much better passer and pure offensive player than, and he wasn't solely dependent on, running the football and going into the zone read kind of thing. No more than a day after they say it, the guy rips his knee out. I got to be honest with you. That is a tough injury. I'm not laughing about the injury, folks. I'm laughing about the fact that these guys are going down one at a time in the league. And I mean,
his injury was just like Teddy Bridgewater's. Planted,
no contact.
No contact, just was running a play. Planted, his knee just exploded.
Well, what we find out is that Dabo Swinney, now for those people who are not in my part of the country, in South Carolina, Dabo is the coach from Clemson, who said the team that misses drafting this guy has missed drafting Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan never ripped an ACL. That's the first part of the comparison. But the second is that he had a torn ACL in college in his other knee, and that he did not take surgery. He wore a brace. And now he has torn the knee ligament ACL in his other knee. So now he will be working on one repaired knee and one that still ain't right. And
you gotta wonder if they'll do it where they'll have both done. Get the one fixed and then
I don't know. I mean, but that's surely not good for a young man to start out. That's what happened to RG3, and he just never recovered from the whole thing. And I hope better things, because I like Deshaun Watson. I like the Houston Texans. I have nothing bad to say. No, I'm not a Browns fan who's bitter or anything like that. We blew it by not picking him. But had we picked him and this happened, it would have been, see, same old Browns. That's the luck of the Browns. It's the flip of the coin in the NFL now. I mean, it's like, as soon as the league anoints, a talking head for the league, it's like, it's J.J. Watts. He's dead, and it's like, one after another, they go down and say, no, we're going to go to the State Farm guy, Aaron Rodgers. He's dead, And so one after another, these great players are going down. I mean, franchise names are going down.
And when Reach for Comment, Bob McNair said, hang that nigger. Oh, sorry.
No. Bob McNair actually says he's signed off on a workout for Colin Kaepernick. How's that? For cowing down, excuse
Which
the
is
expression.
Funny because they just signed TJ Yates and Matt McGloin. I almost said McGroin.
Well, yeah, but you see, McNair did not say that he'd signed off on a quarterback tryout. I think that he was talking about mopping up the locker room. Well, at any rate,
get on those knees, Colin.
It's like, I didn't mean what I said. Sorry about that. Up yours. No, I'm not even going to go there. It's Blazing Saddles, folks. The bottom line is, you can't take it back once you say it, and obviously, Bob McNair is trying to get on the good side, of whom I'm not sure, because his team all hates him now. The next thing comes up to T99. I love coming back because he's not going to kiss my hoof, okay? But the argument of continuity of the Browns coaching staff in front of
throw that fucking shit out the window.
I guess that argument didn't hold any water now, did it? Oh, my
I've never seen.
God.
I almost had a lung collapse from laughing on Tuesday afternoon when they announced that they couldn't be bothered to file the paperwork for the AJ McCarron trade.
Yeah, cue the Benny Hill music. I mean, holy shit, you're kidding me. And the thing that's really weird about it all is that it's the things that don't get told to the players, and it makes everybody look bad. Like, for example, obviously the Browns front office is going to be gone, all right? I mean, Dee Haslam literally tried to suffocate all of them with her maxi pads. So, I mean, honestly, they're gone, okay?
That's got to be a potent stench.
Absolutely. And deservedly so. They deserved every bit of it, but Hugh Jackson really comes out looking like really bad on this. I mean, it's like
he looks like a doofage, for Christ's sake.
Well, I got it. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I'm behind Cody Kessler. Trust me on this one. I'm behind Deshaun Kaiser. It's like, give me McCarron, my old quarterback from Cincinnati. I don't know how he was going to talk his way out of that. I don't know what kind of Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton rigmarole, or Bill Clinton, not to make it racial, Bill Clinton falderall he was going to give us to try
I was expecting the Chewbacca defense. Well, you see Chewbacca here is a Wookiee.
Exactly. I mean, where do you go from this point? It's like, and you know what the funniest part of this thing is? It would be like being a used car salesman, that vestige, the greatest thing in the world, okay, when it comes to honesty and integrity, the used car salesman, screwing people over, selling them junk, right?
Yeah.
And then coming in and, eventually getting fired by the guy who's more corrupt than they are, who owns the used car lot. We have Hugh Jackson, giving his vote of confidence to Deshaun Kaiser while he's negotiating for A.J. McCarron. And then you've got Haslam saying, don't worry, I give you my vote of confidence, Hugh. There's no honor amongst thieves. God almighty, I know. It makes me choke, too.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and then it's Jimmy Haslam. It's like, I got your rebate check for you, and it's on and on. I mean, there is nothing good to be said. And you know how it all lines up? The stars come into alignment when you realize, all right, so Hugh Jackson lies to his players, Jimmy Haslam lies to his coach, right? And who's Haslam's friend? Peyton Manning.
Oh, no.
And whose friend is he? Papa John Schnatters.
I'll go with this.
No, but I mean, it's like a circle jerk of hate and deceit. It's just, oh my God. I mean, but I'm not going to swim in that lake right now.
That's all I've had to put up with Twitter for the past 2 days is, the trade didn't go through. More picks for Peyton. Like Peyton Manning's going to be the GM of the Browns. Come on.
Well, and the Browns' first pick from the University of Omaha. Omaha. Make it stop, for God's sakes, dear Lord. Make it stop. Next, a little thing about Tyronn Lue, okay? Because the Cavaliers...
Yeah. On to the next train wreck, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Exactly. We have a lot to cover in a very little bit of time today. Is it possible? Is it possible that maybe the approach is just wrong? I mean, I understand the players are not in good condition, yada, yada, yada. But let me explain this. Just like trying to explain Papa John Schnatter's stance, which is, okay, let me get this straight. You're not happy with the way the NFL runs its business. Okay, but you can't run their business. So pull your advertising. That's your right to do. But you can't, if somebody came into Papa John's and had a couple slices of pizza and said, this pizza sucks, I don't think people would say, I'm going to start demanding that you change the ingredients of your pizza and you start handling your employees in a different way. I don't like the attitude of that person who brought that pizza to my table. You would just find another pizza place and go there.
Right.
So maybe Papa John needs to, after all these years with the NFL, 7 and 8 in total, maybe he just needs to find a new way to spend his money and find new people that he can get into eating his pizza. Now, the Tyronn Lue thing, from a strategic perspective, is just got just as many holes in it as Papa John Schnatter's argument. You want to play up-tempo basketball with a team that's old, all right?
Right.
Which right off the bat doesn't make any sense. And you want to play run-em, gun-em basketball with a team by your own assessment isn't in shape. I don't know. I kind of think that's like putting a gun to your temple and meow, just like the deer hunter. I don't think that this is a good strategy.
That's
personally.
Terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
I mean, it doesn't even pass the eye and ear test. It's like, I don't understand. So you want Channing Frye to run up and down the floor. You want
Dwayne Wade, who's gonna die of fucking exhaustion.
Yeah, and you're not going to let him operate in the half court. And you're wondering why the half court offense isn't setting up, because they're trying to run up and down like wild banshees up and down the court. Just something to pass along to Tyronn Lue. If you're running and gunning to get your players in shape because they didn't get a chance to do wind sprints in preseason, I understand it. All right. But if you are actually trying to tell the world that this old team is going to continue to run and gun against teams with younger legs, that is the same strategy, and I'll give you a few examples, of Michael Spinks coming into the ring against Mike Tyson and saying, I know that I'm a light heavyweight, but I'm going to stand and trade punches with him. Yeah. End of the first round. Michael Spinks is flat on his back and the fight is over. You don't slug with a slugger, okay? You don't trade left hooks with Joe Frazier, okay? You never hook with a hooker. These are all boxing things, all right? But I mean, look at it from any perspective that you want. You do not run with against young athletic people who are faster, run faster, jump higher. What you're doing is you're accentuating their strength and you're weakening yourself. Now, if the Knicks can do it and the Nets can do it and the Pacers can do it, not the most gifted of NBA teams, then you would think that at some point Tyronn Lue would look at this strategy and say, I think we better get into the half court and do what we've done that has made us a really good franchise the last several years, and that is initiate running offense from defensive stops. The way we do it, and the way we've done it for 3 successive years, is by does Tyronn Lue forget that he held the Golden State Warriors scoreless for 4.5 minutes in Game 7? Does he forget that it was defense that won the championship for Cleveland? If you can make young, inexperienced players have to use their head instead of their instincts, then suddenly things are going to change. If you can double up and play tough defense and exert more energy in the half court defensively, then you can get some occasional runouts from turnovers. But the rest of the time, here's a statistic that isn't being talked about. As bad as the Cavs are, they lead the league in production when they drive to the basket. 68% success rate, and that's 6 percentage points ahead of the next best team in the league. They're great in the half court when they break down the opponent and drive the ball to the basket. So why aren't they doing it more? So I don't think this is a hard fix, but you can't be stubborn. If you're Tyronn Lue, you have to accept realities that you're not going to play run and gun West Coast basketball, and you're not going to play, a Vogel basketball from the old Indiana days. You're not going to do that. You're going to play intensive defense in the half court and try to get transition points off your defense. And in the half court, when you bring the ball up, you're going to run plays that are going to get slashers to the basket, kickouts, and three-point shots. You're never going to have good three-point shooting nights when your three-point shooters are exhausted and their legs are gone from running up and down the floor like wild banshees. You wonder why Jay Crowder can't shoot, why Kevin Love can't shoot, because they're running far too much. And I hope they eventually, figure it out.
Now, I wonder, is Derrick Rose a half-court point guard? It seems like Derrick Rose wants to get out and run.
Well, what it looks like to me is that Derrick Rose, when he brings the ball up the floor, likes to make that first move and get into the paint. And that's one of the reasons why the Cavaliers are effective when they go to the basket, because of LeBron James and D. Rose. Now, I would like to see D. Rose become maybe a little bit better in kicking the ball out, perhaps, to three-point shooter, so he doesn't take so many hard falls and hard fouls going to the basket. But, I think it's perfectly normal to go to the basket in the half-court set and to give people an opportunity. I want to see a little bit more of, Channing Frye on the floor, just to occasionally just be able to score some three-point shots. I want to see the legs under these guys instead of them running up and down the floor. We need to see more activity from J.R. Smith, from Kevin Love from three. If you look at the Cavaliers losing and shooting 7 for 31 in their last game from three-point land and giving up 16 three-point shots, you can see that the Cavaliers averaged 13 three-point shots per game, or makes, last year. When you only make 6 of them, or 7 of them, you're down 6. That's 18 points, okay? 18 points. that you're screwing up. And you can't afford, I mean, you can't leave points on the table when your defense isn't very good to begin with. But, man, if you're playing transition, it's too many easy looks. Cavs need to slow the game down. I don't mean to crawl, but they need to force these teams to have to really work hard and contest shots. And it's impossible for this team to contest shots in the open floor in transition. It's impossible.
All right, what's Babber cooking in the background? It's got me fucking distracted.
Oh, yeah.
Chad's fucking going nuts in the chat room, too.
Yeah, we're smoking some salmon and some swordfish, and I did most of it, but that's why the show was detained today, a little late. I had to wait for her to bring the dogs back. So she's out there running around, waiting for the internal temperature of the fish to hit the perfect 137 degrees internal temperature to have a lovely piece of fish. So that's what you're seeing Mrs. Moose scrambling around in the background. It all makes sense. All right. So Cavs wrong strategy, maybe, but tonight we have a real problem on our hands because obviously the Wizards love to run. The Cavaliers have announced that Ante Zizic is going to play, that Jetty Osman is going to play, and meanwhile, Beal and Wall are saying, "Oh, we're the ones who are we're going to win the East, and we're the team to beat." And we're just and they're back to their Gilbert Arenas talking shit days again. Until you do it, folks. Until you do it, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. And the way I look at it is, I think Beal and Wall are a very dynamic team in the regular season. In the playoffs, when defenses get tighter, it ain't so good. And if you make them work and make them think, Beal's a great pure shooter, Wall is not. The Cavaliers have to play Zizic because of Gortat and the fact that Tristan Thompson's gone for a month with a grade 2 calf tear. Which I warned everybody about soft tissue injuries. This seems to be, the de rigueur thing in the NBA now because of the shortened preseason. But we have no big man, and the only thing we can throw out there is Zizic. And because Iman Shumpert has a knee that won't quiet down, we have to play Jetty Osman in some minutes as well. We're going to start Jay Crowder, but who knows? They're saying that Zizic may come in as early as the first quarter. So I don't know.
Which might be a good thing to play some Osman, because then you can inject some youth into the lineup instead of
not ready. He's just not ready to play NBA basketball, and you couldn't expect the young man to be after playing EuroLeague. But again, the bottom line here is that you're not going to be running up and down the floor with Ante Zizic in the game. Maybe the team will be forced to start running better half-court sets, but it's going to be an ugly game tonight, boy, I'll tell you, because the Wizards are going to be running and gunning, and the Cavaliers have to come out and play a different way. And I don't know. I don't think Ty Lue is convinced of this yet, but he will be sooner as opposed to later.
Right.
The Indians have re-signed Michael Brantley for $11.5 million. I don't know. I mean, and you know that he may not be ready for the start of the regular season again? Who pulled that string? I don't know what it is. I think Sashi Brown had something to do with it. We're just going to blame him for fucking everything. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The Indians always could pull a fast one and say, no, that was the wrong contract that we sent over. See if it works twice in Cleveland. Yeah.
Man.
So, and the little cowboy is back for $3 million. They feel that he can give them something for $3 million, but the $11.5 million for Brantley, I don't know, folks. And the fact that they're saying he might not be ready for the start of the season, and they didn't even think that he needed surgery. He had to go through a second surgery. Boy, I love the guy. He got a great smooth swing, but this is looking like Grady Sizemore relived, and I just don't want to have to go through this. And that's a lot of money to give the player who could fall flat on his face and be unable to play when you're looking at reinvesting in either a Jay Bruce or a Carlos Santana, it's a lot of money to give up. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if he recovers, he's a sweet 300 hitter, and we need that in our lineup. But I don't know. It's a risk. There ain't no doubt about that. It's a damn risk. Not to mention that Sasquatch is back, and Carl Willis, he's like Lurch from the Addams Family. Are you rang? Yeah, I don't. He comes walking out, and you remember his nickname, the Vulture. That's what they called him, the Vulture. He would be the guy that, like, at NFL camps, he would be like the Grim Reaper. He would be the guy who'd make the cuts.
Right.
Yeah, that would be the kind of, that look, that predatory look, the Vulture. And now Atchison has been named bullpen coach because Jason Beret, didn't get the appointment that he wanted to get, and so on and so forth. Atchison was a former Twin, former Indian, former everything, 41 years old. And the Indians organization feels that he has a future as a manager, much like Kevin Cash did when he was the bullpen coach.
Yeah.
So that's the reason.
Wish they would have felt the same way about Mickey Callaway.
Well, the thing about Mickey Callaway is Mickey Callaway was such a specialist with the Indians, and he's done a great job. And you got to say, he took a Mets job that is not going to be an easy job, especially because, honest to God, the Yankees are going to be there for a lot of years to come. The Yankees are loaded with young talent, and the Mets, even though they're in another league, they're in the same city, and there are going to be comparisons drawn, as there have been throughout history. And the Mets all too often have been second best to the guys in pinstripes, and that's going to be a hard job for Mickey Callaway. But you live for the opportunity to become a big league manager, and he earned his opportunity. I don't, got nothing bad to say there at all. The Indians aren't going to stop him from taking the Mets job. It's ascension. That's what we all live for in our work, is the ability to move up and do what we want to do. So I wish him all the best. We're going to miss him tremendously because he's a great mechanical pitching coach, something that I think Carl Willis is terrible at. And I think you're going to see just how people fall apart when Willis comes back. I just don't think that he's the right guy for the job. But obviously, Tito, for whatever reason, believes. I'm surprised he didn't at least give Farrell a call.
Right.
I mean, I know that Farrell is going to hold out for another big league managerial job after Boston because he got kind of the swift boot, but still, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it all comes out, but $11.5 million, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, for somebody who's, like you said, not healthy.
Yeah. There's two ways to spell Deshaun, Deshaun, and of course Deshone, I suppose. If you've never seen Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, the wrong key died. The wrong Deshaun went down. Sorry, Cleveland fans. You should be so lucky. I don't know. These are things that I know, and we got to pick NFL games. Let's see what's in the event. Got a few people in the chat room.
Vikings don't play. Browns don't play. I don't give a fuck this week.
Well, I mean, it's going to be really nice for me to have a Sunday not having to do this for one Sunday, so I can go out and ride my bike or do whatever I'm going to do and have some outdoor stuff going on. So let's see what we're going to get. Amsterdam saying, I'm looking at Bronx photos on Facebook. He's in Malta. Oh, that's nice. Chad says, no shit, my family is from Malta. I don't even know where Malta is.
Some sort of island somewhere, I'm guessing.
Although I did have a junior high band that was named Malta. No, I'm not even. I can't even.
Okay, Zipples.
Yeah, most of the comments in the chat room are about my wife being on the grill. So I mean,
Yeah.
being the pit master right now.
Yeah,
as far as the games, I got the Jets wrong. Look, this is an unpredictable season. The Jets scoring 34 points. What's going on in Buffalo after Buffalo had made an important trade and all this? God only knows.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I'm not going to win the mug anyway. We have to start here at the very beginning, and we don't even have to pick a Browns game. We're going to start with Baltimore at Tennessee. Calf?
Tennessee.
Yeah. Tampa Bay.
No insight needed in these games.
Tampa Bay at New Orleans. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to use any more. I think Jameis Winston's going to steal one. I'm not going to go there. And there you have it. How's it look? Well, show them on the camera. They've been watching you out there out of the corner of this thing. And whoa! It's dripping. Ooh. I wonder if you can get this in the shot. Let me see here. Wait a sec here. I'm sorry. I got my cursor jumping all over hell and back. All right, wait a sec. The 3D House of Fish. Da, da.
Well, that looks like some good fish.
Yeah, isn't that something? That's what good smoked fish looks like when it comes out. These are swordfish, and ooh, that looks good. Yeah, it's halibut. Just for the halibut. What was the internal temperature? 137 on the nose, right on the schnoz. You can't beat that with a stick. All right.
Back to the Sunday as Boo recaps his spout with food poisoning.
No. Yeah, but that has been cooking literally for an hour and a half at 180 degrees.
Ooh.
We do it low and slow, man, so it gets all that smoky goodness, and it just it's just amazing what it does for fish. It's a pellet stove, a wood pellet grill, and oh my god, it's a smoker, and oh my god, it's so good. Cherry wood and hickory wood. Ooh, boy, that's some good eats. All right, Tampa Bay at New Orleans, Tony.
New Orleans.
Yeah, me too. How about the LA Rams at the New York Giants?
Rams.
Yeah, me too. Boy, this is the kind of in-depth discussion that you just can't wait to hear on Moohead Radio. Denver at Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Now, I wonder what would make you say that. Me too. Atlanta at Carolina. Now, this one's a tougher one to pick.
Atlanta.
I'm picking Atlanta too, but I'm just wondering if Cam Newton does the gesture and he rips his jersey off, what's underneath it now? Boy, you just don't hear much about Cam anymore, except if he's fucking up at press conferences.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's something. I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks that, came in as these athletic running guys, I'm telling you, and that was one of the things about Deshaun Watson. Boy, he could really run too. It's like, not anymore. Wow. We have Cincinnati at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I mean, do you think there's any repercussion in Cincinnati after this debacle?
Got to wonder if it messes with the locker room psyche a bit.
I mean, and the weird thing is Marvin Lewis said, I'm relieved that McCarron is staying. And it's like, how's that for a last second salvage? Wow. Yeah, both organizations showed ineptitude of the highest order. They couldn't get on the same page to save their souls. I'm picking Jacksonville as well. Indianapolis at Houston. Indianapolis announcing that they'll be luckless for the rest of the year. Andrew Luck gone for the season. That's really got to help their morale tremendously. Houston now, with this, I picked this game before the knee tear. You're going to have Savage as the quarterback. This could become an interesting game. What are you seeing? It's at Houston.
I still think the Texans win. I have no confidence in Jacoby Brissett, or the Colts for that matter.
You know, Jacoby Brissett was the guy who last came from New England, and to take Belichick's backup quarterback, what a thing. He ends up bringing Hoyer back, right?
Yeah.
And he got value for Garoppolo, and Garoppolo is going to wind up sucking. It's going to be another Matt Castle story. I would never do business with that scuzz bucket. Never. I'm going with Houston also. Boy, Arizona at San Francisco. They're trying to make a game of this with the Browns, San Francisco.
I think.
Oh, by the way, if you didn't know that at Denver, Brock Osweiler is starting.
Brock Asswater.
Yeah, he's starting. So that'll be fun. Two Browns quarterbacks, or could have been, Osweiler and Carson Wentz. So I forgot to bring that up. All right, Arizona or San Francisco?
I think CJ Beathard gets hurt in this game, and all of a sudden Jimmy Garoppolo is thrust onto the field, and the 49ers win.
That's an interesting take. Arizona's been bad, but I don't think they're that bad. I'm picking Arizona, but it's I don't know, Garoppolo. I mean, Castle never amounted to anything. I mean, if you don't surround them with their system, I don't think they're that good. Washington at Seattle.
Interesting football game. I'm going to go with Seattle.
I'm going with Seattle also. And, I've just never found that Kirk Cousins is a guy who's come up large. I always find that he's a guy who will put together a good, decent game or two. He's kind of like the new Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a guy who can put up 300 yards, but it just is sporadic, and he throws ill-timed interceptions. I'm going with Seattle. We have Kansas City at Dallas, and of course, I'm never going to pick Dallas to win again, simply because I hate their owner. He's a schmuck. But Kansas City has been doing pretty well. I'm going with KC. How about you?
I'm going to pick Dallas. Zeke Elliott is still playing. I've never seen somebody who's fucked up get so many continuances and breaks on a fucking suspension. It's insane. But yeah, I'll go with Dallas at home.
I'm going with Kansas City because like I said, I just refuse to pick Dallas. And yeah, it is really weird. The mechanism that keeps, he's like Lazarus, I mean, he just can't keep a bad man down. You got Oakland at Miami. Now, Miami has really been amazing this year. If you want to define, Adam Gase has basically said, we have no offense, and he's got to go up against Oakland. Any chance for Miami at home?
Not in the slightest.
Me too. Detroit at Green Bay. Boy, Green Bay is just in the shits since the Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah.
Not that Detroit really stimulates me in any way. I'm going with Detroit.
Yeah, Green Bay won't win a game with Brett Hundley as quarterback. Their only chance of really winning is to bring in Kaepernick, and they're not about to do that. No team in the league is going to bring that headache onto their franchise. So let's go with the Lions.
Yeah, and I'm picking the Lions 30-17 over Green Bay, Oakland 30-13 over Miami. Who will score the most points? Philadelphia. Who will score the fewest points? Cleveland. No.
Yeah, the Browns. They'll lose
we'll
to the bye with 44-0.
Yeah, Miami. So the fewest points, and so it goes. We'll see how it all plays out. How are your Timberwolves doing? I was watching a little bit of their game. It seems like they play better against better teams.
They're 6-3. They got their ass beat by Detroit and Indiana, but Jimmy Butler wasn't playing. He had pneumonia. So, that was it seems they're a much better team when he's on the floor. They play a lot better defense. They score a lot more. Last night was an example. Karl Anthony Towns had 2 points against Davis and Cousins, and we still won the game. We're getting a lot of good bench production. and they're just all around a better team. And it's actually fun to watch winning basketball in Minnesota for a change.
And really, for all the people in Cleveland who are complaining about the Cavaliers, honestly, I mean, they got to spread the wealth at some time. The league wants this, and I think fans have been more than patient in a lot of cities around America. And look, it's not like all of these teams, already 3 losses for Golden State. I'm not suggesting that Golden State's in any trouble, but I mean, even Beal and going through, and there's a salmon steak. That's her salmon steak coming in behind it. Here it is. We'll show it. The salmon steak. Okay, salmon steak in 3D. Look at that. How's that for a fish, huh? Ooh. Pretty nice. All right. Food porn.
John Wall poking the bear in the pregame just admitted that the Wizards believe the Cavs intentionally sandbagged so they didn't have to play them in the playoffs last year.
A big talk from Beal and Wall, who can't even get along from what I've understood. When the going gets tough, they will get going in opposite directions. They got a lot to prove. A lot of the teams have a lot to prove. And, you got to beat the big dog at the end of the year. In the beginning of the year, who knows? I mean, maybe the Cavaliers will wake up and start playing proper strategic basketball, and maybe some of this will come together. Maybe it won't. But the bottom line is that I think Boston is a better coached team than Washington.
Right.
They're already 6-2 in Boston, and Kyrie's playing nice basketball there, and they're getting good help from Tatum. Their young players are coming through, and if it's happening this early a phase, they're going to get good together. So I think that, to me, they're the logical team, not the Wizards, based on history.
They withstood Gordon Hayward. They got like a $9 million player exception, so they can bring in anybody. I think if the Cavs don't pick it up, Celtics are probably your Eastern Conference champion.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of reason to believe that, but it's a long season and anything can happen. So I'm done. I'm going to watch the Cavaliers, and I go down.
Start in 4 minutes. So
yeah, and I'm going to go down with the ship here. But hey, I got to watch the games and try to figure out what the hell's going on, so I have talking points for the next show. So next show will be on Monday. Remember, no Sunday Moohead Radio, no Browns football.
All right, Moo. Talk to you later.
Thanks for jumping in, Tony.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. And thanks to you for jumping in and joining me live on Moohead Radio. The last Moohead Radio show that we did on Monday has over 200 views, 989 views on the last post-game show, the Browns post-game show from last week. Nothing but thank yous from me. Makes my job much easier getting comments on these programs. Feel free to comment, because I love to come on and respond in real time to the comments that you've taken time to leave behind on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel while you're there, and I'll be putting up links on Twitter so that you know where to go to subscribe to the Moohead channel. We're already up to 130 subscribers, which is pretty damn good. We want more, because we're like Papa John Schnatter. We're fucking pigs at Moohead Radio. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you again on Monday. Go Cavs. Try to get this done. At least try to be competitive on the road tonight. It's a lot to ask under the circumstances. I'll see you Monday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.